Okay, so last week I was very kindly invited by another Facebook marketing friend of mine, Elko, to go and talk at a meeting about Facebook ads up in London. And I meant to record the presentation, but I didn't. So I thought I'd record it again. You might find it useful. Anybody who's running Facebook ads for gyms, health clubs, fitness studios, this should be of good value to you. So it's all about copywriting that converts for Facebook ads. Okay, so let's just move me a little bit. So what you will learn is actionable tips that you can test in your next Facebook ad campaign to improve the performance of your ads. So before we get started, a couple of important notes. First of all, the same copy just doesn't work for every single client. Like we work with about 30 gyms or so now, and yeah, what works at one gym doesn't necessarily work at another. So you've got to test all these things. Don't overdo it. Like, don't try and use all of these things in one ad. Just kind of, try one thing at a time, test it, see if it works. If it does, keep doing it. If it doesn't, try the next thing. And make sure as well that you're really clear on Facebook's advertising guidelines, because it's particularly in health and fitness more than a lot of other industries. It can be quite kind of annoying or difficult to get ads approved if you're saying stuff in your ad copy that is a bit close to the mark in terms of using words like fat, calling people out, stuff like that. So you've got to be a bit careful. So just all I can say is keep on top of the Facebook advertising guidelines. They update it pretty regularly, and just kind of, if you're having any troubles getting your ad copy approved, then have a read through that and try and work out why it is. So the first point is specificity. So we talked about how important it is that you speak directly to your intended prospect. Lots of different things you can do to do this. First and foremost, you should create what's called a prospect profile, so you get a really good idea of the type of person you're speaking to, and exactly kind of what their motivations are, what their goals are, what they really want to achieve, what their frustrations are, what the things that keep them awake at night, that they're just fed up, that they've tried and tried and tried to sort out, but they just can't. Like, the more information you can know about that prospect, the person that you're trying to put this ad in front of, the person who's your ideal client or member, then you're not going to be able to do a good job with the copy. So it's important to do that. Some of the things that I shared that we do to help with this is, for all of our trialists at the gyms, we have application forms that they have to fill out before they get a space on our free trial. So by doing that, what we do is we have a couple of open answer questions where people are writing in their own words kind of what their main problem are, things they've tried in the past, why it hasn't worked, what's stopping you from achieving these goals. These type of kind of open questions that get people to really open up on an emotional level about these things, because that is the main thing here, is that in order to get someone to take action, as you'll see in a second, we want to be speaking emotionally. We want to get them emotional, because that's when you take action on something, right? You take action based on emotions, and then you justify with logic afterwards. So it's no good just trying to take a logical approach to your ad copy and just listing all the features of your gym. It's kind of not going to get people excited. So use their vocabulary. That's one of the reasons I was saying about the application forms, is because when you read through those, you can even export those. So we will quite often export all that data into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can stick it into like a word cloud program, and then you will see the words that people are using. The ones that come up the most regularly will pop up nice and big, and you can see the words that people are using, and make sure it's not personal train at all. Like, it's their words that they would actually use to describe it. So they might use the words tummy or belly, not six pack, or whatever it is. Like, if you can speak in their vocabulary, they're going to resonate more with it, they're going to understand it more, and that's the name of the game. Make sure you're using words like you, your, and yours. If you read through your ad copy, and this goes with any copy you're writing, if you find that you see those words more often, you're doing a good thing, because you're talking about them rather than just talking about yourself or your business or how great your gym is, or this. It needs to be about them and how you will help them, not about you and your gym. And I put here as well, retargeting. So depending on the stage at which they're at in your sales funnel, you will speak to them in a different way. Like if it's someone who's right at the very beginning of your sales funnel, who doesn't know anything about you, you're going to have to kind of explain a bit more, talk in simple terms. On a retargeting ad where they maybe already know what you do, then you don't have to go into all that again. Like again, it's specific to them and the stage they're at in the nurturing process. And asking a relevant question I put on there as well. So if you understand what it is they're looking to achieve, then by asking a question first of all is a really good way to engage people, because it kind of, when you read a question, you start answering it in your head. So you're already engaged and ready to read on to the next part. So you'll see a lot of Facebook ads will start with a question at the top. And that can be a really good way to draw people in, but particularly if it's a question that's based around like their primary goal or their main fear and frustration. So that's specificity, making sure that the ad copy is specific to the person you want to reach it, really specific. In fact, one more I was going to say on that is, so with the targeting options that we use for gyms, before we move on, so it could be as simple as, if we're targeting women who live within 5 miles of a gym in High Wycombe, the specificity might just be a line of copy that says, wanted women who live or work in the High Wycombe area. That's specific to the audience you're putting it in front of. You don't have to overcomplicate this as well. Like what you're trying to do is make it specific to the person that's reading it. Okay, so we touched on this earlier, but number 2 is emotion, creating desire to drive action. So you can think about your ads and your free trial offer that you're making at the front as actually being the first sale that you make. The only difference is that there's no money switching hands, but you are selling them on your ability to deliver a 7-day trial that's going to help them. And in return, they're trusting you with their personal details. And that is the first exchange of value that happens. So you can look at it like a sale, and people buy, as I said before, based on emotion. You have to create desire to drive that action, not just using logic. And I've put here the 2 main things that the 2 main desires are a promise of gain, which is when you're talking about the end result, where they want to be. If I could wave a magic wand right now and change all the things that you're unhappy about, explain to me, describe how that would look like. What is that end goal? How is it? How does it look? Or fear of loss, like what is the thing that they're really, really worried about? What is the worst case situation? If they didn't do any about this, then what happens? How will that look? Describe that. And that's kind of the 2 things really. You can use this in your language, so using powerful emotive words. So I said just there, imagine. Imagine is a word that instantly moves you to thinking. So that can be really good for helping to kind of start a sentence that's painting a picture about a promise of gain or a fear of loss. Also, other words that we find kind of quite powerful, anything about transformation. When anybody buys anything, they're looking to change something. They're looking to transform from the state they're in now to a future state. That is a transformation. So like we found, particularly with fitness, where it's kind of so simple that is, people are looking to change from how they look and feel now to how they want to look and feel. So the word transformation has been really powerful for us. Other ones like kickstart, to get people started. We know a lot of people are just sitting around not doing anything, and a kickstart program can work really well. Those are the examples of the type of powerful emotive words that can work really well in your ad copy. So if you describe the problem and even agitate it a bit, so this is where you're going to get them really emotional. If you can clearly describe the problem that they're experiencing at the moment, first of all, you will start to build a bond with them because they will feel that you understand their pain. But second of all, if you can describe it really well, then they will start to believe that you have a solution to that problem. So the better you can describe it and agitate that problem, and then you follow that up by offering a clear, appropriate solution. Now, let me tell you what I mean by a clear, appropriate solution. So again, it goes back to the stage that this person, this prospect is at in your sales process. So if they've never heard of you before and you're trying to get them to become a member of your gym, which maybe costs, I don't know, £60 a month, 12-month membership. So, it's the best part of £750 minimum sale. Like, you're probably not going to make that sale straight off a Facebook ad where someone doesn't know you. They're not just going to click on an ad and then the next step they're going to hand over £700 without ever having been there before. So you need to kind of understand that and use little stepping stones to nurture that lead from knowing nothing about you to making that purchase decision. So what would be an appropriate offer at that page would be maybe a 3-day trial or a 4-day trial, or we find the best is like a week's trial. One of the reasons for that is because what we're trying to change is behavior and habit, and we find that by offering a 7-day trial, or even in some cases slightly longer, like a 10-day trial, that means that they can come not just once to your gym, but they can come once or twice or even 3 times over that 7-day period, and they've experienced a week where you are now part of their lifestyle, and that makes a massive difference to converting them into a new member. So a free trial, free 7-day trial would be a really appropriate solution to the problem at this stage. Now, at the end of that 7-day trial, maybe the appropriate solution might still not be to sell them on the full membership. It might be that you then have the next stepping stone, which is a 6-week program for £69 or something like that, and they get into that, and that gives them opportunity now to do those 3 visits a week for 6 weeks before you then say, right, now it's time to sell your membership. Making sure the offer is appropriate to that person. And then finally, scarcity and urgency. So these can really ramp up the emotional desire and get people to take action now. Give them a reason to take action now, because if they just feel like, oh, I can take this up at any time, do you know what? They won't. So scarcity is where you're saying there's a limited number of them, and that can work really well because it's not only like I'm going to miss out, but someone else is going to get it in front of me. So you bring kind of the element of competition into it as well. And urgency tends to be more time related. So it's like you have to do it before this time or you're going to miss out. It doesn't always, like, you shouldn't make up this stuff either, because after a while people are going, you've only got a small captivated local audience. If people just see the same offer that's only available for 2 days or something, like it's going to lose its effect after time. But you can do things, so you can have it like as a takeaway. So you can have it so that if someone does something now, then there's a bonus for that. So it might be that you're always running a free 7-day trial, but if you apply for your 3-day trial before the end of this week, then not only are you going to get the free trial, but you're also going to get a free nutritional guide worth 49 quid or something like that. So it's an added bonus, and that's what you're going to take away. That's what they're going to miss out on. So it gives them, a reason to take action now, and not just at some point in the future that never comes. Okay, so readability. So now we're getting on to the actual writing, and so it doesn't matter how good your copy is if it's just a big fat block of text that just looks intimidating to read. People are not going to read it. Like, people's attention spans are like an all-time low, and it's getting lower and lower and lower. We're just bombarded with information on a daily basis. If you can't make your copy engaging and kind of easy on the eye, then you're going to struggle to get people to read it. So how can you do that? So lots of different techniques we use. One we call keyboard calligraphy. So this is using different keystrokes, maybe some of the emojis as well, to try and make your text look a bit more inviting. So experiment with different emojis using the arrow keys, the little triangle, I don't even know what they are, the little kind of greater than or less than symbols to with a couple of dashes before it. You can make a little arrow pointing to a link. You can use capitalization, so particularly on some of those emotional words, we find to capitalize them so that they jump out, so that even if your copy is a little bit long, people should be able to skim read it and still get an idea for what it is by reading kind of the capitalized words. They should see kind of what it is, what the offer is, and what they need to do next. Ellipses can work really well. So is that how you present? I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, or ellipsis. The 3 dots like this, that encourages you to read on. So if you've got a couple of sentences, you can dot, dot, dot at the end of it, and then maybe a bit of white space, and then you start again. So it's kind of encouraging people to read the next part of the copy. White space I put here as well. What's underneath here? So copy length. Yeah. So particularly if the first of all, experiment with different copy lengths. We have some ads that work really well with it's like one sentence, short, punchy copy to the point. And we have others where it's much longer, some as much as kind of, 200, 300, 400, 500 words or so, where you're really going into the detail of describing that problem. Both can work, and there's no right or wrong on that. It's just test it and see what works best for you. Some people like to run them both, because some people like to read and have all that information. Others just want to take action now. So those different ads might appeal to a different type of prospect. White space. So yeah, break it up. Use that return key to break up the text so that it becomes smaller, much more easy to read little chunks. You can also use text in your image or in your video. This can be really, really powerful. So make sure you stay within Facebook's rules of 20%. So don't have more than 20% of your image being text, and that includes logos, symbols. So don't go mad with it, otherwise you'll either not get your ad approved or the impressions will be restricted. So yeah, don't go mad. But also with videos as well. First of all, with videos, make sure that the thumbnail picture that you choose hasn't got more than 20% text in it. But also things like dynamic text can work really well. So if you've got text like moving towards or moving across on the screen and stuff, then that can really draw people's attention. And particularly like with videos as well, it's important. We know that like 80% or more of videos on Facebook are watched without the sound on. So if you have got videos where people are talking and it's not, just footage of your sessions going on and stuff, then it's important to put subtitles on there. We use a website called rev.com, rev.com. Where you can literally upload your video file. It costs like $1 a minute. So if you've got a 5-minute video, it's going to cost you $5, and they create what's called an SRT file, which is a subtitle file. If there's any errors in it, you literally just open it up. It's like a text file. You can just amend it and change the text and then resave it. Then when you're happy with it, you literally just upload it to your video on Facebook, and then you'll have all the captions will just add on to there. So that's definitely worth doing for any videos that have got any commentary, someone talking over the top. Okay, and then check your previews. This is the other thing. So with the text, depending on the length of the text as well, you're going to get to a stage where it's going to say read more. So make sure that you check the previews and check them for different placements as well. If you're running your ad, most of your traffic is probably going to be on mobile. So number one, make sure it appears well on mobile. But secondly, check how it looks on desktop. If you're running it on Instagram placement as well, check how it looks on Instagram. Make sure before you run those ads that the copy looks good. Okay, so I've just stuck together a couple of examples here to highlight some of these points. Let's see what we got. Okay, so here's a couple. So this is a short text. You can see, fancy trying Marlowe's #1 health club for a day. So again, we talked about leading with a question. You've then got some urgency. First 30 people to apply below. Put in, this is a bit of keyboard calligraphy. We've used the ellipses here. We've used a little pointing emoji here to point to the link in the text. We've got a video here. This is actually a square format video, which you can see takes up a lot more space. Benefit bullets. So we've got bullet points here as well, where we've used the little tick emojis to make it again more readable. And we've actually used the headline here as a testimonial. So we've used this icon of the star and a quote, which makes it look like a review, but this is just the headline. It's just done in that way. You can see over on the fitness experts one over here, similar sort of thing. We've used a testimonial in the text here. So this is a good way to kind of, if this is where people are at the moment, then find someone else saying it, and then it sounds better coming from them than it does coming from you. If you've got a member who's reliving the exact stage that your prospect is at, that's going to be really powerful. So this is actually a retargeting ad that we sent to people that clicked on the original ad but didn't opt in for one reason or another. So it's trying to kind of reassure them that we can help. So you can see here, just joined after a year off, love the setup in the classes, great selection of exercises that will really get you results if you give it your all. Loads of classes, very friendly and good instruction. I'm very happy I found this place. We could even put the person's name by the side of that to make it even more realistic, but you've got the testimonials video playing here. Only thing that's annoying about this is they filmed it this way up, so it's not really maximizing the space that they've got here. So find out for yourself with a free 6-day kickstart trial. So again, you can see the words free, the words kickstart are capitalized there. You've got the link underneath. We've used some urgency here. Space is still available, so that's continuing from the original limited number of spaces. And you got the captions on the video here too. Okay, then we got 2 more here. Let me jump over here. So this is a much longer copy ad. You can see here. We've used a call out. We're looking for 10 ladies aged 30 to 50 for our free 10-day bootcamp trial. We're looking for 10 local ladies who are at least 2 stone to lose and want to transform their bodies. So the word transforms in there, which is powerful. It's emotional. We've got specificity. We've got ladies who have at least 2 stone to lose and want to transform their bodies. We've got 10 local ladies, so there's scarcity in there as well. Your free 10-day bootcamp trial. So again, the word free, you can see we've used a bit of spacing here to make it more readable. You've got the bullet points here, which makes it more readable. You've got links throughout this text. So if someone's reading this on mobile and they're scrolling down, you know, they don't have to go right the way back up the top to click a link. You must be quick or you will miss out. So again, more scarcity, dedicated to your success. A PS as well, like this is a bit like email marketing. People will always read the PS. So the PS at the bottom here, we saw that people were clicking through on this one. Help you learn how to get the physique you really want and still enjoy meals out. So that's talking directly to what this particular demographic wants to be able to do. They want to be able to still enjoy meals out, still have a glass of wine, but still get the body they want. And then again, another example of specificity. You've got emojis on here using the stars now. Wanted draws attention. 10 women that have injuries but want to transform your health and fitness. So again, it's calling out. 10 is scarcity. Women that have injuries. Women who are scared of exercising due to back problems, knee, ankle, hip issues, and more. Like, this is calling people out directly. At the Fitness Lodge, we have movement therapy specialists who work alongside our programs to strengthen weaker areas to become pain-free once again. So, yeah, you can see kind of lots of the stuff we talked about in here. No more injuries in capitalization, free body transformation sessions. So, yeah, anyway, that's the presentation that I did for ad copy last week. I hope you found it useful. And, yeah, I shall see you on the next video. Cheers.